What is up, YouTube? Luke here. Just wanted to give you guys sort of a preview, quick preview of our latest test unit that we just picked up. We've got a Maverick XRC Turbo R. I mean, words really just aren't needed when you're looking at this vehicle. I mean, just look at it. It's ridiculous. It's awesome. And I mean, the vehicle itself is every bit as cool as it looks like it is. It's pouring rain here right now, so I hope everyone appreciates the sacrifice that I am making. Luckily, I have my FXR Hydrex Pro windbreaker on, so I'm not actually getting wet. The XRC is obviously, you know, Can-Am's, I don't want to say dedicated rock crawler, because it's really not. I mean, it's a do-all. The XRC can do anything. It can be ridden at a track, it can be ridden in the rocks, it can be ridden in the mud with the right tires, it can be trail ridden. I mean, it's really, in my opinion, one of the most versatile Can-Am sport side-by-sides right now. While this vehicle is not, you know, quote-unquote all new, there are so many new things about it that it's like impossible to remember them all. It's just such a trick vehicle, honestly. It really is. When you consider that this is essentially, this is 100% stock, it's almost hard to fathom. I mean, you know, overall, first of all, it's sort of based on the XRS platform, let's say. It's 72 inches wide, so you can just see right there. I mean, it's so wide. It looks awesome, and of course it goes around corners like nobody's business. And it's got the 172 horsepower Turbo R motor. That's just the same as all the other ones, so you know what it's going to be all about. That triple cylinder motor is just sweet. It's music when it's running, and the power is almost too much for 99% of the situations you're going to find yourself in. This one does have multiple modes though. So it's a drive-by-wire throttle, and you've got, you know, eco, sport, performance modes, whatever on the dash with just a switch. So that's handy actually when you've got this much power on tap, when you want to be smooth, when you want to just go easy. This thing also has, you know, probably its biggest, most unique feature, I would say, is the smart lock differential, and that's really what sets this vehicle apart from all the other X3s out there. And the smart lock differential is so trick. I mean, it's an electronically actuated differential that has preset modes depending on how you want to ride, and it also has intelligent automatic modes. So over here in the dash, you've got rock and trail, and then you've also got front diff lock. I'm not showing you the right thing here. Here you go. Front diff lock, 4x4, 2x4. So that's your pretty typical stuff. Other than the fact that it has front diff lock, which your typical Can-Am diff doesn't have, because, you know, they had their own self-locking diff. This one, you lock the diff with a switch, and then you also have rock and trail modes. So rock and trail are your presets. Front diff lock is basically, you know, your intelligent mode. It can think for you and make sure that the diff is locked how and when you need it, depending on a number of sensors within the vehicle that tell it what to do. And I mean, this vehicle, this works. You know, Casey Curry raced an essentially stock Maverick XRC at King of the Hammers, and not only finished the race, but finished the race extremely well, and he attributes a lot of that to the smart lock diff. So, you know, it works. It's not just a gimmick. It works, especially if you're a rock crawler. But the truth is that kind of technology is going to work for people in any situation, really. Obviously, another standout feature here is these wheels. You know, you got 14 aluminum, forged aluminum, true beadlock wheels down here, which isn't new. Can-Am has those on other vehicles, but these 30-inch Maxxis Liberty tires, I mean, these things are massive, and the tread is very sort of light truck tread, but it's also soft. It's designed to grip rocks really, really well. And this is a tire that if you were going to run the rocks, if you were going to be a rock crawler, you'd put this tire on your vehicle. So, you know, to have it come stock, that's That's pretty awesome, and it definitely makes this thing look tough. There's no question 30s on an X3 looks pretty hardcore. Obviously, suspension-wise, you know, you've got your Fox RC2, Fox Podium RC2 bypass shocks up front. They're 2.5s, piggybacks up under here, full high-low speed compression, rebound, preload. In the back, these are 3.0s, monster shocks back here, dual rate springs, actually triple rate springs. Now that I look at it, I didn't even realize that. Triple rate springs, cage mounted, massive cage mounted reservoirs. Again, high-low speed compression rebound, fully adjustable. It's a serious shock package. I mean, it's among the most serious shock packages you're going to find on any side-by-side or ATV in the industry. I would say the TTX rear suspension on the X3 it's right up there with the absolute best of the best suspension systems in the industry. These vehicles can be plush. They have 24 inches of travel that feels like 24 inches of travel, feels pretty much bottomless. You know, huge beefy trailing arms. It's a 4-link setup, so you know, there's all the adjustments and whatever else you need, just like a trophy truck. You know, you can't fault this back end for not having the best of the best technology, that's for sure. I like this little feature here on the XRC, massive heavy duty recovery hook on the back here, bolted right onto the rear frame for getting you out when you got yourself in too far. And there's also a really nice front end setup here. You've got your recovery hook there in red. It comes with the bumper. That's an accessory bumper from Can-Am that comes on this vehicle. 4,500 pound winch integrated right into the front of the vehicle, which if you can see this here, it's pretty trick how it's integrated into the front. I mean, you don't even see it. It doesn't even exist really from the front, but there it is, mounted right on the frame member, out of the way, out of harm's way, but ready to do its job. I love that. I absolutely love that feature of this vehicle, that it comes that way. Obviously, you can see in the front when we look down here, there's an aluminum skid plate, but also UHMW skid plates all around the vehicle. You've got diff skid plates, A-arm skid plates, complete underbody skid plating. You know, comes with rock sliders that are plastic right here on the side. These aren't painted metal. These are plastic. They're going to slide across rocks like butter, and that's pretty trick. Even your trailing arms have got UHMW skid plates on them. And the skid plating goes all the way to the back, as you can see over here, right down the back of the vehicle. So, I mean, this thing is designed, obviously, to pound rocks like crazy. And it does a pretty darn good job of it. You got an aluminum roof, comes standard. When you're spending 35 grand on a side-by-side, it should come with a roof. Period. End of story. Drop the mic and walk out. There's absolutely no reason that side-by-sides at this level wouldn't come with a roof, but you'd be surprised. There's quite a few of them that do. Here we've got factory installed intrusion bars. When you're crawling rocks and there's the chance you're going to roll over or could roll over, these things are lifesavers. They're really unique too. I like these ones on the XRC. As you can see from the front, they've actually been sort of flattened out so they don't impede your forward vision as much as a lot of intrusion bars do. But they are, you know, essentially an aftermarket setup, a Can-Am factory accessory that you can buy for other vehicles, but comes standard on this vehicle. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And again, for the money that you're spending, it should include it. The XRC comes with half doors, so going to keep the mud out, keep you in. I guess that's the most important part. I'm not crazy about the latch system here with this little red tag that you pull. You have to pull it from the inside. Doesn't really do it for me. It works fine, but it's kind of just, I feel like an exterior latch would be better. It does work though, so it's hard to complain about it too much. The seats in this thing are pretty neat because they're dual adjustable, forward and back, and you've got 2 inches of up and down adjustment. So I mean, not only do you have these awesome Can-Am seats that we all love, they are just so high quality, they feel amazing. You know, you've got hard plastic on the side here that supports the side bolster, so these suckers lock you in tight. But you can also adjust it more than any other side-by-side out there by moving it up and down as well, and that's super cool. Obviously tilt steering, that's standard stuff. These 4 points though. Now Can-Am has offered 4 points on other vehicles, and they are offered on other vehicles in the industry, but nobody offers retractable 4 points. And these things are just amazing. I mean, 4-point harnesses are great, but they can be kind of cumbersome and annoying when you're getting in and out, and they're flopping all over the place. They're almost always stuck down in here. When you close the door, they get jammed in. Not these ones. These ones are trick. You know, you've got your sternum strap here to keep them locked in your chest area. Obviously your waist belt, you know, to keep them locked in on your waist. Just an absolutely awesome setup to come from the factory, and both driver and passenger benefit from that. So, you know, Can-Am nailed it here. They really did. Dashboard wise, typical Can-Am quality. You just can't fault Can-Am when it comes to finish quality inside. I'm sorry that the thing's soaking wet, but you know, c'est la vie. Dashboard's got all the stuff you want. You got your override, sport, and eco mode for your throttle, which is really nice when you want to be smooth. Throw it in eco mode, you can be buttery smooth. And then as I showed you before, your smart lock settings. You've got your tri-mode power steering switch here, start button. I am not crazy about push button start. I can't stand it actually, but it works. It's just, to me, I don't really like it that much. Your light switches and your winch switch right over here, which is nice. And you know, Can-Am does a good job with your gauge. I think probably if there was anything Can-Am could step up a little bit, it would be their gauge. When you got Polaris with full GPS in dash and touch screen and all this kind of stuff, Can-Am could definitely go one step further with their stuff there, I think. But no complaints. It's a great dash. Doors close nice and tight. Go around this side. You know, you got a nice little storage box here. It's not, I'm going to say, watertight, but it's definitely water resistant. I wouldn't be throwing it in the lake and expecting my sensitive documents to survive by any means, but it's a nice storage container there that you don't get in a lot of vehicles, and it does shut down pretty tight. Doesn't lock, sorry, but shuts pretty tight. I mean, this is just a quick overview. We will be doing a full test ride on this vehicle. I'm going to be doing that here pretty soon. I'll be filming it and it'll air later on, but I just wanted to give you guys an overview real quick of what is an XRC. Why is it super awesome? And it is super awesome. You know, look at these lights, all LED, you know. If it had a key, I could turn the key on and you'd be able to see them, but it doesn't. LED accent lighting in the front. The lights on this thing are just the bomb. I mean, Can-Am just knows what they're doing when it comes to these side-by-sides. They really do. And I don't have really anything negative to say about this vehicle as a whole. And there's some small nitpicky things that are always going to exist on all vehicles. We are always going to point those out. And a lot of times they're very personal, like a push-button start. Some people love it, I don't. But as a whole, man, there's not too much you'd need to do to this thing to go out, and Casey Curry proved it. I mean, he took one of these things essentially stock, and what did he end up, like 4th or 5th? A King of the Hammers in a stock vehicle where all of the people who were ahead of him were in hand-built, modified tube frame, you know, quote-unquote side-by-sides, but it's pretty hard to call them a side-by-side when the whole vehicle has been rebuilt from the ground up by hand. He was running a stock XRC. I think the only changes he made were guards on the trailing arms and A-arms, different wheels and tires, and he had to put on a different roll cage. That was the rules. But other than that, the vehicle was stock drivetrain, stock motor. That's impressive. So stay tuned. I'm really looking forward to this one. There are vehicles that come and go over the course of a year that you just can't wait to test, and you're excited to test. It's super interesting to test. There's lots to say. This is one of those vehicles. So I'm pumped to bring you guys more info on this pretty soon, but definitely wanted to give you a quick overview before it gets all dirty and abused, so you can have a look at what it looks like and some of the specs, some of the interesting, unique features that it has. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. AJ's got some more of these things coming for you pretty soon as well. We're going to be uploading new walk-around videos from all the new vehicles we get as they come in, so stay tuned for more. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being part of the Dirt Trax Nation. We'll see you next time.